Hi, and welcome to the Souls and Simulation podcast. We are your hosts, Evan and Angie, and this podcast provides an alternate view on life after death, processing everything that's wrong and possible solutions on how to get it right in the afterlife.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this is our fourth one
Yay.
already. And today with us, we have one of our channels in this early stages, biggest supporters. We decided to have her on, basically after conversing through email and finding out, hey, there's some interesting insights here. So let us welcome Jackie. Jackie, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for letting me just come and just encourage everyone and even commiserate about, living in this wonderful world we live in.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And the other cool thing too is today we're going to be talking about the movie Free Guy. So lots of interesting little tidbits in there that kind of tie into this hellscape subject.
Yeah.
This movie is so interesting. When I first heard it, I was like, okay, whatever. Like, it's another video game movie. And then when I watched it, I was like, wow, they are truth bombing us a lot. But then when you think about it, because I was watching this movie again, taking some notes, but I was like, what does someone who's not conscious think about this movie? And you're like, oh, okay, well, oh, yeah, no matter what happens in life, I can be totally happy. The bank's getting shut up. I can sit on the floor with my best friend and be all like happy dorky. But then you're just like, oh, I wonder if things are getting through to people.
I think don't you guys think it depends on the perspective? Like if you're a gamer, you're going to see it through that lens and maybe get nothing else out of it. And if you're um, just into Ryan Reynolds, maybe that's
Right.
all your focus is. Or a lot of people maybe even watch it. Jodie Comer is big. She's coming off of doing Killing Eve, and so you've got Jodie Comer in it. Um, so and it might just be that for people who aren't conscious, just kind of coming away from it for just what it is, or
Mm,
I mean, I hope it's reaching people. What do you
right?
say, Devin?
Yeah, I think the meaning in it, like it just takes uh I just thought of that quote. There's a one quote from Buddha and it goes, it only takes one candle to light a thousand. And
Mm,
in the movie, it just takes guy Ryan Reynolds, and he goes and he eventually like kind of wakes everyone up. But it's to each their own. I think when people are watching it, it just depends on their perception and their perspective, how willing they are to think deep into the meaning and apply it to their
yeah,
own lives.
for
Totally.
sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So first off, for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, Jackie, do you want to tell us like a little bit more kind of about what the movie is about?
So Ryan Reynolds plays a guy named Guy. If you've ever also seen the Lego movie, it's very similar in that where he gets up, he says hi to his fish, he goes down and gets his cup of coffee. And it's so funny because I'm such a Lego dork, so I'm singing everything is awesome even while watching this movie.
Mhm.
But he just goes to work, he gets the same thing every day. And it's so really interesting because it just shows the life scripts that all these NPCs are on until, he sees the girl. And I totally forget what her name is. And it's going to be fine. But
It's Millie,
Millie,
as
Millie,
in, and the
Millie.
real word she's Millie. In the game, she's Molotov Girl.
Molotov girl. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
So he sees Millie or Molotov Girl, and all of a sudden something breaks in his little code where he starts to think twice like, wait, that's the girl of my dreams. And so he starts chasing her. And then it all boils down to while he's chasing her, he knows about the sunglass people, but I think because of this little ripple in his little world, he actually takes sunglasses from an actual player in the game. The actual players wear sunglasses, and in the sunglasses is very similar to the they live the movie from the 80s. It's very cheesy but a very good plot movie where he puts the glasses on and he can see a whole bunch of things he didn't see before, like rob this bank, get $2,000, buy these upgrades over here. And so the world looks different to him from now on. And so the rest of the movie is about him kind of living as an NPC. He gets fame. Everyone is like, oh, who's this blue shirt guy? Like, and, people love him. They're like, he's doing all these good things instead of, robbing and pillaging. But the crazy thing is Millie, she is trying to get back the code that they originally made this world. I forgot what the world is called. Is it just Freeland or something? Oh
It
my
was
gosh.
something like that, yeah.
I
Yeah.
forgot to write that down. But Free City. You wrote it down,
Free
Angie.
City.
I wrote it. Free City. And so Millie and her partner, who plays Steve in the Stranger Things, they wrote this code. It was bought out by, of course, a corporate entity, and they changed the game from this happy nature world into this all-out chaos, like basically GTA in a way is a good
It's exactly like that, yeah.
correlation, right?
Yeah.
And so Millie is telling Guy, "Hey, I need to see the original code. I've seen it once." They get the original code. He figures out it's in his blinds as he's like opening the shutters in the day. So she knows the original code is there. And so the rest of the movie is them trying to get the world to see that the original code is here, and that they, like Millie and her partner, Steve, is what were robbed of their original creation and robbed of their creators' rights. And it I don't, it ends with um Guy actually finding the real or the original creation, and all the NPCs, they go live happily ever after in this rainbow world. And Millie does whatever she does. She falls in love with Steve, and there's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's a pretty good synopsis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's good.
is. That pretty much was it in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the fact that you have basically you've got Millie and her partner, but I can't think of his name in it, Steve, I think, right? I
Steve
think
from
it's
Stranger
Steve.
Things. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh, but you've got those two that create, so they're in the real world. They create
Keys.
this
Name is Keys.
keys.
Thank
That's
you.
right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So you got these two creating this free city world in which the goal was for uh these NPCs to actually become AI and become sentient. That was the goal of this code.
Yeah.
So you have the real world creating this game, and then you've got Antoine stealing that code to put in his GTA type free city world. And then you've got Millie saying to Guy at one point about God, because she's referring to Antoine, because Jackie put that in the outline.
Oh my
And she goes,
gosh.
God is a dick. And he goes, you've met God. And so, and here's what's interesting. If you think about this, you've got two gods here for
Yeah.
Guy, right? You've got Millie, who creates the game and the code, the original code. And now you have Antoine, who's taken that code and done something different with it.
Hmm.
Um, and so you end up with worlds within worlds,
Yes.
Yeah.
right?
And look
And
at the
so
like, oh,
do you guys think we've got that going on too? Or is it just like beyond this after we die? Is there more layers to this or after we die? Or what do y'all think about that?
So I truly believe that this was either a simulacra, a copy of something else brought in, and we all know, I don't know what to call it. You can call him Beelzebub, blah, 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 I don't care. Like whatever its name is. I really truly think he took us, and again, I listen to the Gnostic stuff, but then I'm like, okay, I kind of put it at hand's length, like arm's length. I'm like, it's there, it's part of this place. How true is it? 100%, you know? But it did say we weren't completely like physical, like we were physical and ethereal. But I think as every reset comes, we get deeper and deeper into materialism. Like,
Mm.
you know what I mean? Like, and again, I don't know how many simulations we could be in. You know, we the third dimension, does that mean we're three simulations removed from our the original that came in here? Or could the Matrix movie be saying something? Well, this is the sixth reset, this is your sixth time. Like, are we six deep? I don't know. Does it really matter? Not really, but it's important to understand that we are so deep in that it is so hard to understand where we are. That's how they can make up all the history. Like, if you really go back through history, you're like, it really doesn't make sense. It's so disjointed and weird. Like, I think once you understand, like, we're we're part of a in a creation within a creation within a creation, like, you're just like, okay, no wonder why I feel so unattached to anything, you know? I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And it doesn't help too that we also create things. I have a theory that we don't help matters with our thought because we don't, a lot of us, when we're not aware, we're creating and we're not aware we're creating. And so then you have that as a component too. Could aspects of this be us also trapping ourselves through as well?
You know, if we were unlimited creators in this place, I think we would be our doom and our biggest success. You know, like, we are so traumatized and so broken that we would probably, you know, wish all these bad things on us, never mind other people. But like, oh, I'm so ugly, we would just get uglier by the day. Or I'm such a failure, we'd be such a failure, but be like, we'd be driving a Lamborghini because be like, yeah, you know, what am I gonna, I don't know, I don't, you know, I'm not even a car person. But I really think our creative aspects are so like enchained. It's like, oh, you're allowed to do these little things, but you're not allowed to do anything else. Like, all we really want you to do is create what we tell you to create. And I really don't think that we can think of creating anything liberating for ourselves if we're, especially if you're still stuck in trauma, like still stuck in not capturing your thoughts. I think I'm jumping ahead a little bit here because to get out, to understand, to get out, you have to understand who you are, why you are, and where you are. And the biggest thing is understanding this place. Like, it is not this glowy, happy world that we've been taught. Like, raised as a Christian, oh, God made this world, it's perfect, you know, everything's here for your benefit. And I've lived like that for so long. I was like, oh, I love, you know, herbs and food. Like, let's get organic as much as possible. And you're like, it's not helping me. I'm not getting healthier. I'm not feeling better. And then all of a sudden it starts to break down that this place isn't as good as we were told it was. Yeah, sure, it's fallen, but not even the positive thoughts. You can have positive mantras all day and you're like, I'm a special person, I'm beautiful, I'm wealthy, and nothing will change even though you're
Exactly.
sending those positive thoughts out there. You know what I mean? Or that positive intentions, I should say.
Mhm. Yeah, there's so many layers to all of that. Positive intentions, manifestation.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think it's good, especially if you're going towards depression. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
I really need to capture the mind here because the moment you let your mind go too deep, it's so hard to get out of the clouds. So I do think for like, hey, you know, a good positive affirmation that you tell yourself every morning might help you, you know, go the rest of your day, you know. But for the most part, I really have a lot of serious doubt on manifestation and positive thinking and all the mantras, and I don't know.
I did it for 2 years straight. Read every book, Joe Dispenza, RJ Spina, was in the zone. And you know what? I got worse. My illness got worse.
Mm.
And so uh the money thing, the manifesting money thing. The people telling you to do that, yeah, they're manifesting money. You know how? Because you're buying their books.
Yep.
So they're telling you, "Hey, I'm doing all this." Yeah, it's your money. It's
Yeah.
your money that you're giving to them that's making them the wealth that they're claiming that they have, or their program that they're running, or their class that they're selling, or their shamanic. I even did shamanic training. I was into all of that for 2 years.
Mm.
And even had people, I've had medical people, I had a nurse tell me, it's all in your head. Really? It's multiple sclerosis, it's a nervous system thing, and it's controlling. That's the thing that's not working. It's just why I can't walk. And you're going to tell me that I can walk and it's all in my head? Because on the one hand, as medicine will tell you, oh, hey, you've got these lesions, that's why you can't walk. And then you'll have somebody else, like this woman, telling me, oh, but it's in your head. No, it's not. I can believe and put all the positivity because I did it. And I got worse. And I think in part the reason I got worse is because God knows what kind of energy was attached to the stuff that I was like binary, what is it called? Binaural beats
Yeah,
and
binaural beats.
all
Yeah.
that stuff all night long. I would have stuff like that playing. And so to what your point with what you were saying, Jackie, yeah, you could like why don't we'll even test it out. I'll tell you what, why don't we all set the intention that all three of us are going to be millionaires by the end of the month? We'll give it
Okay.
30 days. And
I like
we won't focus on we'll keep our and we'll report back to everybody. We'll keep our focus not about anything else in our lives, just on finances. That we're not
okay.
broke, that we have everything we need, and we'll see how well this works. You know what I mean? What do
Yeah,
you guys
no.
say?
I would love to do the experiments because it would be live. Like we can even just email and on one of your videos be like, hey, it's the 15-day update. This is what everybody is saying about,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I don't think anybody's ever done that. Like,
Yeah.
and honestly, truly, and if you need me to, I will email you every day. Hey, nothing's changed here, or hey, I got this random check in the mail. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't believe that would happen, but the Matrix would do it just to say, hey, I'm gonna
Well,
stick it to this girl.
that's the thing. Like, let's see, let's put it to the test. And I really
I
won't. I'm not going to have a negative viewpoint about our money situation.
Yeah.
I'll keep it positive and be upfront about it, and we'll see what happens. But I kind of already
same here,
know.
Yeah.
right?
I know one thing about all of those like manifestation coaches, and I'll say this, and maybe we can get back to the
Yeah, we kind of got
all
off
of that.
topic.
But it's okay. I have heard and read that they make special contracts before they incarnate here to if they go and share that they, are manifesting, then they'll be getting money. They profit off some way energetically. To go and like spread this message, and there'll be contracts they create beforehand, even unconscious ones that they're not aware of,
Mm,
just to like go out and be this agent kind of for, new age or this message that isn't completely the truth. But sometimes those people will believe it is the truth. So
yeah.
it's an interesting can of worms, I guess. But
Devin, the revelations that you have sometimes,
uh,
or like things that you'll tell me that I haven't heard. Do you know how angry it makes me? And then I have to rein that in because I don't want them having food.
yeah.
Because you also mentioned that the story about somebody, um, some guy that I think I don't know if it was while he was out of his body or an NDE, but he asked him what this was all for and why,
Oh yeah.
and they were like, it's our entertainment. And
Yeah.
then you just revealed this, and I'm like,
Yeah.
so mad,
Yeah. Mhm.
so mad. Like yeah, that's something else.
Yeah.
That's something else. So people coming down here with specific contracts so that they
Yeah.
can basically pull the wool over people.
Definitely, definitely. And then I have one more thing. Okay, did y'all ever hear, have y'all ever read about people that won the lottery, their stories, or how they went about winning the lottery?
Some of them, and some of them, I'm like, how did they win the lottery? How have they won it 15 times and I can't even
Yeah,
win $20 from a
I
scratcher?
know, right?
Yeah, I know one lady, there's one lady who's she's won it multiple times. She uses and she said she used the Silva method, which is a hypnosis kind of
Oh, yeah.
manifestation.
I've tried it.
You've tried it. You didn't win a
Hmm.
million bucks. There was one lady. There was one lady, and this is it's true, I promise. She was leaving for work one day, and she turned to look at her cat, and she told her cat, "I wish I didn't have to go to work, but I have to." And later that night, she dreamt that her cat told her the lottery numbers. She went and
Oh
she
my
bought that
gosh.
ticket, and she ended up winning
No
like
way.
dollars.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's possible that she maybe created that reality for herself, really believing that those were the manifestation numbers or the lottery numbers or but either way, her cat told her the lottery numbers. Um, so I don't know.
I really
You,
truly think that these these people have, okay, so it goes us back to the movie, is these life scripts. So
mhm.
this
Yeah,
lady probably was in her life script, hey, you're going to win the lottery. But the simulation was like, how do we get her to get this ticket? Oh, we're going to send the numbers to her cat in her dream because that's the only thing that this lady will like trust, you know? Like
yeah,
I really truly think that happens. And
yeah,
you know, it's funny, me and my sister were talking about just medicine. You see all these supplements, oh, I lost 30 pounds. And then you try it and you're like, this has done Jack Diddley for me. Like, what is going on? And I really think there's something about the NPCs. It works for the NPCs to gaslight all the other
Oh,
people
that's a
to
good
say that
point.
this works. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
Hmm.
yeah.
Like, it's it's so frustrating, but you know, everything, like, because it goes, let's go back to Free Guy, all the NPCs, they never had to have anything to worry about. Like when Guy puts his card into the, like, the ATM machine, I almost said Mac machine, but that's such a Jersey thing.
Hmm.
um he puts his card in, he's like, oh, $183. Everyone else is like, oh my gosh, I only had, but he doesn't have to think about rents. Like, he gets his coffee every day. Like, if I only had $183 in my, I'm not going to Starbucks, you know, I'm not
Right.
looking at shoes, you know, like he has not a care. He's not worried about his job. Like, it's really interesting. I've, you know, I've been to a few concerts this past year, and everyone's talking about the economy, how we're dipping down. But yet these concerts are sold out for 300 plus a ticket. And I will not buy a concert ticket. I love my daughters a lot. I will not buy a concert ticket that's over $100.
Unknown
I,
caller.
I just don't care. But like, how is it that these stadiums are sold out? I really think the Matrix just feeds these NPCs with money to go, because it supports their person. You know, like, oh yeah, go see Justin Timberlake for $1,000 a ticket. We'll give you the money. You'll get a raise or a bonus check or something. But I really think it, like, it kind of gaslights people who are really looking, like, I don't buy organic food anymore because I can't afford it. But yet, I'm so confused. Like, McDonald's is even more expensive now. Like, why does it cost me $15 to go get like a two cheeseburger meal when, like, just 5 years ago it was like, what, $3.50? $3? I don't even know. Like, it's just crazy. Like, I really think this place is set up to benefit some and then make the others wonder what the heck they're doing. It's like this, like, continual gaslighting system. Like, oh, you can't afford $1,000 to go to a concert, what's wrong with you? You need to upgrade your job, go back to school and get another degree. Like, it's always this, you're not good enough, you have to try
Yeah.
harder. Like, you know, like, where's my sunglasses that I can put on, you know?
I put that in the notes where you could just
Yes.
swipe money,
Yes.
or have the answers, or
Yeah.
but I guess but the glasses didn't give him answers though. Not
No.
initially. Millie had to finally tell him that, but it did make his life easier as far as living in it. And although, I don't know, Devin and I have talked about, uh, I don't, do you get where you're at without as hard, not that I'm saying, hey, I'm grateful
Mm-mm. No, no.
or that it's fun or anything, but do you get to where you are without, to awakening without the things in your life that didn't go well? In other words, I can say this. I don't think I get to where I'm at with all of this unless my illness had gotten out of control. I mean, we would probably still be truck driving, teaming, with my girlfriend driving around the country, um, and uh, not coming to this realization, just going through the motions of everyday life. But it was that search. When you get hit in the face with something, you start searching.
Yep.
Um, and kind of like Guy getting hit in the face with Millie.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that wakes him up to get the glasses to put him on so he can, and then it leads him down a certain direction.
Yeah.
You know,
Unfortunately, I think you're right, Angie. And it's also, you also have to think like, if your life was just a little bad, you'd be like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna take this pill and I'll feel better. But like, it's almost like there has to be so much to the point where you get to this breaking point and you go through everything else. You've tried everything else. Or even you start off at the journey. I mean, I remember starting off with Jesse Ventura's like videos, searching for something because the answers out there. You just, okay, where do I go? And he had a truth like series. I can't even remember what it's called. It's been so long, and he's such a weird character. But like he started off with that day in September where you're just like, nothing felt right. And then you keep going and you keep going and you're like, oh, not only am I exposing truth in the real world, I'm exposing truth about myself. What I believed about myself is not actually true. I don't have to be rejected because that's a program this place put on me through trauma. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's what's so hard about the truther community. And I have to be very careful that I don't piss people off. But it's like people will go through this just to learn facts. And they're like, oh, I know all these facts. I know all these facts, but it's not really touching them. Like, I think all the NPCs that went with Guy at the end, they were like, oh, hey, we're just following Guy. But it actually changed Guy. Like, you know what I mean? He was like, I want to be a good person, but oh, there's something deeper. Okay. And at the end, he could have said, like, no, Millie, you can't leave. I don't want you to leave. Like, but he was like, no, I'm perfectly okay by myself. So I don't know. This journey is so hard because not only do you have to look at the outside, you have to look at the inside too. And that is not that is not easy at all. And it gets scary sometimes. But
for
I think
sure,
you're right, Angie.
for sure, yeah. Devin was the one who brought that up. I think it was not while we were doing a recording, but right before
Yeah.
we've been talking about that on before one of our other videos went out.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about I thought it was interesting that the NPCs treat one another way better
Oh
than
my
not
God.
only humans treat them, but
Yeah.
then humans treat one another. What do you guys think about that?
Oh, like how the NPCs treat the
They
humans.
were very kind to each other and to the humans that were playing the roles, playing the game.
Yeah.
Even, I mean, you can even see that blatantly. I mean, because this was kind of interesting, very, very quick in the movie. The NPCs are going to work, they're doing their thing, and then you have the woman who works in the coffee shop and she's closing, and Millie's playing the game, and Millie goes, "Oh, you're closing," and she's like, "Yeah," and she's, I guess, she's like, "My nephew's addicted to that game," and and I guess so are you, and she says, "No, I have this lawsuit against him," and the woman goes, "Yeah, I would love to hear all about that, but I'm closing."
For
And I
real.
thought that was interesting, that contrast. And
Mm.
all throughout the whole thing, right? Everybody goes in to play that game so they can go destroy things and kill NPCs.
Yep.
That's humans doing it. So do you guys, and we do some pretty nasty things. So I mean, what do you guys think on that? What's your take on
I think the contrast between the NPCs versus humans in real life is very different. Um, yeah, I don't know.
You know what's really interesting? Let's go even back before we get to that point. So their initial world was supposed to be this beautiful nature, like just
Oh
watching
yeah.
these people just grow and live. But when Anton or Antoine, whatever his name is, took over, he made it this shoot 'em up place. So it's kind of crazy that you have these nice NPCs inside a game that's like violent, but let's just call it the simulation before, because could we really prove that Millie's in the original? No, she could just be another, there could be
Exactly.
a simulation behind her, right? So, but it's really interesting how they almost invert it for us. Like the intention was supposed to be good, but we're going to turn it into something else. But we're going to kind of stomp all over the nice NPCs, because half of them, like that one guy, couldn't even put his arms
I
down. Like he
know.
was like, like, come take my money. And I really think it's almost like a mirror to us. Like that's how this place wants us to be. Like, oh, just get up and stay positive. Keep working for the job. While the company's getting more and more, and you're getting less and less. Like it's almost like that's what they're trying to tell us, like, oh no, you should just be happy, you should be grateful. Like I really hate that word, I get very triggered by
Mhm.
it right now. Like don't tell me to be grateful. I have been manipulated by narcissists my whole life, and just I have given everything, like, and you're just like, I have nothing left to give, and now I can give two F's and I can give you two fingers if you would like. That's how I feel. And so you kind of understand the humans like Millie and Keys going in and shooting things up because you're just so frustrated and angry. But I really think like Free City is like a mirror. Like, hey, these NPCs are so happy. They're being shut up all the time. You should just be happy that you have a job and $187 in your bank account. Like I'm like, gosh, are they trying to like say something to us, like this is how we should be, even though they traumatize us and break us down, make us feel like all these things. It's crazy. I also believe that there's two different NPCs in the world. I really think there's NPCs that are nicer here than and I don't even know that they're NPCs. I don't think we should ever assume people are, although I think you can kind of get a sense in some people, if especially if you're around them a lot. But like you do have decent NPCs because they are living beings. I mean, you shoot an NPC in our world, they're gonna bleed and have to go to the hospital. Like I can't stand people in the truther community that are like, oh, they're just NPCs. And I'm like, yeah, but they're breathing, they're bleeding, like they're not any different than you and I are technically, like you know, there's this channel called Decoding Your Reality. He's all about gematria, and he did a couple things that are so cool. I don't really listen to him a lot because he's connected to one guy. Tony Sayers did a video on him. People went absolutely bananas on him. Jason something.
Oh, oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, people went, yeah, I know who you're talking. I don't know his name, but I know what video you're talking about.
Yeah, but I like his gematria. I like his breaking down. Do I listen to him all the time? No. But he did the code one time where everyone's an NPC. He said, everybody here is playing out a script. We are all here to play out what, the world tells us that we need to do, which brings us into astrology, but I don't want to go there. But, we're all coded with planets and, different things, different karma, if we want to say that. Like, it's just really interesting. But it brings up the question, are we all NPCs? And the divine spark is like fishing, and we take the bait, like, oh, okay, yes. because I know even as a kid, I there was just things that I was like, Mom, why is the moon up in the middle of the day when my teacher just said it should be like with China right now or something. Like it should be on the other side of the world. Like asking those questions, I would always get shut down, no matter where I was. Like it's it's just strange that, but it's always like these little things where it just makes you question. But all throughout your life, if you really look at it, is it possible? Or are we born with a divine spark and we have to awaken the divine spark? I don't have the answer, but it's interesting questions. Because if it's possible, can an NPC wake up then? You know what I mean? These are questions I really don't hear a lot of people
Hmm.
talk about. And would we treat them differently if we knew they were actually NPCs? I don't think I would, unless we're dealing with the second kind, which I throw all the psychopaths, narcissists, like serial killers. I'm sorry, they're born that way. They're coded that way, and I really truly think they're put through governmental programs to make them even worse. Maybe sharpen their skills or whatever. But I really truly feel that there is a section of the NPC genre that is completely owned by the system to be, the people that cause violence at, some of these music festivals that are going around music festivals. Those are the, um, they're out there like saying, this isn't right how the government's treating us. I cannot think of the word. It's going to be okay.
Um,
It's
activist?
not,
Sorry, no.
Protesters?
yes,
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
protesting.
Okay,
Yes, thank you.
protesters, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. Those are the thoughts that roam around in my head. Like, are we all NPCs or are we born with it? Does it really matter? I don't think so, but it's just really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you said one interesting thing too. I wanted to touch on it. But I've heard that we can just set the intention within ourselves to activate our divine essence, our divine spark, and it's right here.
Mm,
And we can just activate it. And we can even breathe into that spot. We can practice visualization of opening it and expanding it around us, use like golden light. And I've been told that we have another one right above our belly button. Uh,
mm.
I forgot the name of that one though, but yeah.
I saw a video once of um, a son was in the room when his father, I don't know why you would film this, but his dad was dying. I mean, I thought it was weird. Like, I was like, why am I watching this? Because I'm just as bad as his son filming it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this, but the only reason I did watch it is because it was like you can see it's something. I think the title was like, "Here's the soul. Here's evidence in the soul." That's why I selected it. But I didn't know until I started watching it. I was like, "Oh my God, this guy filmed his dad dying. Like, what the hell?" Um, but he might have saved it for just a moment to, like this was his last moment with his dad, I guess. And there's
Mm,
no talking in it, but you see something leave. You actually hear the last breath in the video, and then you see
mm.
something rising from the belly. It's like a spark of light shooting out of the belly and fleeing up.
That's
Mhm.
pretty cool. That's
So,
pretty
and I was
cool.
like, but it was really small in comparison. I was like, that little thing, that little thing is animating I call these flesh bags.
Yep, meat
Meat
suits.
suits, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
uh,
And
you know, so I thought that was interesting when you said the belly button, Devin, because it made me think of that video.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I
And
know.
how sad for NPC stuff. Oh, go ahead, Devin. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say how sad for NPCs, like if they don't have a divine spark, like this is it for them, and they still have to come here too and live in hellscape.
It's funny. Howdy Mikowski said something, and I got so mad because he never expounded on it. But again, this is another reason why I like this movie because it kind of allows for the thought. Let's say there is an NPC who wakes up but doesn't have a divine spark. Like, think about how Guy and the others ended up in the original creation. Like, I it makes me wonder, is it possible for an NPC to wake up enough where they can go back to the original simulation that we were I don't want to say born into, but born into, where we are half ethereal, half, where I don't think it's as difficult. I don't think you consume as much food there. Because if you think about it, every time it reset this place, I think he doctored our DNA to make us even more consumers than we were the last time around. Because I wonder if you look back at every time the archaeologists go back, and it's not precise, but we always uncover a new city underneath. Like if you go into all the Tartarian mudfloods, like there's cities way below here, and I feel like it or Yaldabaoth, whatever you want to call the horrible narcissistic psychopath that runs this place, it just kind of whoop, washes over, forget everything. We're kind of starting from new, but not starting from new. Like, but we're going to get rid of everything that is beneficial. I really think the original Matrix, when we first came in, was everything we were promised, whether we were tricked or whether we were stolen and brought in here. I don't know. I don't really know how we got here. I don't spend too much time on it because then I don't want to hate myself. Like hating yourself just keeps you here, right? Like I don't want to get mad at my divine spark either because would I have been any different? I don't know. But like we're here, right? But I really think that original is so different. We don't consume like we do here. It makes me wonder if it's as a utopia of a place as it can be in the half physical, half ethereal, whatever that looks like, half energy, whatever, because we had to stay. Like we stayed for a little bit longer or enough time for them to lock us in. I don't know if you guys like anime, but my oldest loves anime, and so I was like, okay, I'll try reading manga because I'm a huge reader, and Sword Art Online was a big thing, and it's so crazy. I couldn't get through more than one book because I was like, okay, this is crazy, but it's the same thing where the character they are like, oh hey, this VR game is out. They were allowed to play it for like months at a time, and then all of a sudden, the creator of the game locked everyone in and the whole series, and again there's like 20 books and I only read the first one. The whole series is them trying to go through all these levels to get out to actually live. And so it makes
Hmm.
me wonder if the original was enticing enough where we're like, oh, we can hang out here for a little while, this place is pretty good, and then all of a sudden Yeldabaoth is like, nope, we're keeping them in now, you know what I mean, like locking us in. But it makes me think, if that place is still there, and I do believe it's still there, can the NPCs wake up enough to at least get there where it's not this insanity that we have, I don't know. Again, it's just thoughts and questions that kind of ruminate in here, and it seems a little bit more positive than nope, everybody's doomed to hell in this place.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it
Because
definitely is hell. Sure.
yeah. I like the term you said the other day. What did you call it?
I think hellscape.
Hellscape, there was another one too.
Yes.
Uh, I can't think
You
of
have some funny ones. Loosh Guzzlers. I like that one too.
Yeah. That's because I'm a smart ass. I mean, I've always been somebody that I've always been like, I'll be with, as far as systems are concerned, or I've always just been that way. I'm the fly in the ointment, the chink in the chain. I just don't ever kind of like it does tie into the movie being that way because I thought it was interesting. I picked up on real facts when he goes in and he's like, I'll have a cappuccino. And everyone's like, what? And I remembered, so colored hair now it's not a big thing, but I remembered thinking in junior high when I showed up after my mom passed that year, I went punk and really rebellious and all that kind of thing. And so I left the end of the semester, normal hair and everything. And when I come back in September, I've got this 4-inch high mohawk black at the tips, red at top, and the Christian high school that I've like it,
Oh
and
no, oh
and
no.
everybody just looked at me like, what happened to Milton? Like, what happened to her? And then in Christian school, I was constantly the Christian high school I got thrown into. I was constantly getting into trouble, um,
Mm,
and challenge, like asking questions. Like, um, I remember in Bible class saying, I don't. I mean, God's kind of a jerk in a way, and
yeah,
everybody freaking out. Every what? How can you blasphemy? How can you say that? And when I pointed out to them, well, if you have a creator who knows all things past, present, and future, this is in junior high. I understood this. And well, actually, I think I was in high school at that point, but it's like then, and that being creates Lucifer, knowing what Lucifer is going to do, then in essence, God creates evil.
yeah,
And so it's funny, like, and then everybody in the room just acting like everybody did in that restaurant or that or the coffee
mhm,
shop, acting like,
yeah,
and we do that in our society. If anybody steps out of line, everybody acts like it's World War III.
yep. How dare you question the shape of the earth? How dare you question, women's place in society? Like, what?
I mean, we can't even like the fact that we have men's and women's clothing. It's so fashion clothing. It's so ridiculous. If a man dressed today like men dressed in the 1800s, they get their ass kicked.
Yeah,
And what none of us realize is everything here, whether I'm using clothing, but everything here is dictated to you how you were supposed to be.
yeah,
And that's bullshit. Oh, I
yep,
have to go to work. I have to work 40 hours so I can support my kid. And now women are, nobody's at home taking the care of the kids. Nobody sees this stuff. Nobody's there taking care of children. They're going to schools, which puts them in a vulnerable state to be put, which we're starting to see.
Yeah.
That opens them up to be. So when you start looking at all these things from that, when I saw that scene in the Free Guy, I was like, that's how everything operates on.
Yeah.
yeah.
Do what
Did
you're
you know?
expected to do and don't step out of line.
Yeah. Did you know how feminism was created?
No, please
It
tell
was
me.
it was created by Rockefeller. Uh,
Oh,
yep, just like, our school system and big pharma to get women out of their homes, to get
Kids out of the
working,
homes.
yeah, to get kids out of the homes into the school systems that he created. Yeah, and to totally just disrupt the family system and unit. Yeah.
it's so sad because I'm not a feminist, but I do believe in we should be equal. Like,
Yeah.
I think that most women would be like, hey, that's fine. Like, equal pay. Like, if I stay home with the kids, you got this. But like, it's almost like they programmed us no matter where we went. Because I remember, oh, you got to be a mom. You have to be this for your husband. But nobody tells you that you sacrifice yourself and then all of a sudden your husband's like, cool, I'm out of here, and you're like, I have nothing. And they treat single moms, especially single stay-at-home moms, horribly in our society. You can't get a job that's more than like low wage, you know what I mean? Especially in
No.
this economy is stupid scary. So it's like, so you become this feminist, and then and then it's almost like they take it too far where you're like, no, 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 we're not burning bras because we need those. Like come back,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's so funny. Like nobody wants to come to this middle and like just cool. What's it like to float in the middle? It's like the left or the right or the black and the white, and you're like, no, no, no,
Yeah.
no. We somewhere in the middle is the happy place. Everybody.
Well,
Yeah.
have you guys you mentioned the Rockefellers? Do you know that the perpetuation of it with like people like Gloria Steinem? She was it's now known. She was working for the CIA. She's a psyop. And so that took that further, but also in regard to this whole like the working thing and you guys know that if you look at cultures, whether it was like the Arawak culture, which was the one that Columbus basically annihilated,
Hmm.
and even some indigenous cultures today, do you know that they don't live the way we do?
No.
They
Yeah.
all they're a community. So an archaeologist, I believe it was an archaeologist, had went and studied like people who hadn't been touched by civilization and was learning about their culture and learning about them. And then he was getting ready to go back home. And so I'm using the word chief. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but basically he was the leader of that this group of people. And he told the archaeologist, he goes, well, you come and stayed with us for 4 months. It's only fair that I get to go see where you live.
Mm,
And he went back and talked to all of the people, his experts and everything to make sure they were like, well, we don't know if that's such a good idea because their fear was that he was going to come into this, the way we live and not want to go back. And so, sure enough, they decided to let him come. And so he's staying with the guy and he sees the man leaving every day for work and coming home and all of the crazy stuff that we do. And he asked him, he goes, where do you go every day? And he goes, well, I have to go to a job. And he goes, well, what's a job? And so he explained it to him. And he's like, well, why do you do that? And he's like, well, I have to make money. And he goes, well, what's money? So right. So all this stuff that
yeah.
he's having to explain to him. And then finally he says to him, um, so how long will it take you? He's like, well, I have to pay for this house. These are the things I have to pay for with the money that I make. And he goes, well,
Mm,
when will you buy the house? And he goes, in 30 years. Well, he gave him years in terms of what he had left to pay off on.
yeah.
But it was still a lot. And he goes, and it's going to be a few years on my car and this, that, and the other. And this guy's looking at him like, you're crazy. And he goes, you leave your family every day to pay for this. When we want a house, we just all get together and build one for somebody. And when we
Mm,
want food, we go and get it. But we spend all of our time with the people that we care about because he was kind of trying to impress upon him that because death is waiting for you. Like
yeah.
death is waiting for all of us. And you're spending your time doing this stuff instead of with the people so I found that like really how is it that a bunch of what we would call or people I wouldn't call them this, but people would call them savages or or they used to be known, that's what they were called back in the
Third
day.
world countries or
It's yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Well,
Fourth
these are
world.
people not even like even a country. Those are just tribal people. And
Mm.
they get it. And we're so smart and we're so, uh uh evolved and whatever, and we're running around um doing stupid stuff like or thinking that playing a video game immersive like Free Guy is a good way to. And again, I'm not play your game. I'm just saying when you actually think about it, you have real people in your life, but you want to actually go live. You're already in a simulation in the body. You want to go join another simulation by playing a game.
Yeah.
It seems sad to me that we don't get that we let a bunch of corrupt people and a corrupt industry. I mean, we're talking about a movie and we also covered The Matrix and all of that stuff, which is another movie, but that system is corrupt too.
Yeah.
And it's a distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yesterday I was listening to some random, he was talking about the moon and what the moon's role here is. I don't want to go down that subject. But when I tuffed, I just listened to things and he said this and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love this." He said first, he said you have two jobs in this place. One, becoming unprogrammable. And I was like, "Oh, oh, I have to sit with that one for a little while because those two, like, what does that mean?" And I was like, there's so much to that. But then he also said, refusing to participate unconsciously. So you
Mm-hmm.
can play your video game because I think they purposely stress us out so much that, oh gosh, I need an hour to read a book or an hour to go play. I don't care what it is, hour to watch a movie, whatever it is. Because sometimes that's my favorite time with my kids is watching a movie or
Sure.
because there's nothing you can do in this place that is, not like programmed, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you kind of choose your poison in a way. But I was like, gosh, that's such a cool phrase that even if you're watching a movie, you're watching consciously. You're not turning the brain off. You're just like, oh, I see what they're trying to do here. Even in Free Guy, there's a lot of propaganda in there, especially with men. I don't know, you remember the guy is like rubbing his chest, like
Yeah.
what was, you know what I mean? Like you're just like, okay. I was so happy that, the girl's clothed. Most of the time they're like half naked in a bikini and stuff. No, I actually thought she was tastefully clothed. I was like, wow, she's beautiful. But no, it's the weirdo guy. And I forgot what they called. It was like big guy or
Dude.
It was dude.
dude. Thank you. But he's like rubbing his chest. But like, if you're not consciously watching this movie, you're not catching everything we're talking about, but you're also picking up, oh yeah, I want to wear sunglasses. I want to make my life better. Like you're catching the subconscious programming that they're putting in
Right.
them. I don't know. I just thought that was so cool. And it's so true, Angie. Like this place is so coded for our detriment in everything, honestly.
Yeah.
Everything. It's so sad. And it's aggravating and frustrating.
I mean, and I guess you guys seem to be more, I mean, I'm not saying that you guys aren't mad, but you guys have been more, I mean, literally, this is like 2 to 3 months for me. So
Hmm.
when I say I'm angry,
I believe you.
I mean, I am like, I can't even, um, and then but then I'm kind of like, how much of your emotions are you, because you can't stuff them down. But then
Mm.
also, that's the thing too, is like, you don't want it to be food for them to feast off of. So I'm kind of, and then that gets aggravating. And I'm like, are you just, can you win at all? Or do we have to wait till we're dead and get out of here? And then that's when you win. I don't know.
I don't think we have to wait till we're dead, but I want to go back to that one because I think a lot of people struggle with the emotions.
Yeah.
No joke, since December of last year, my check engine light has come on every week, every 2 weeks, to the point where I broke down because I was taking it in every time that check engine cut. Oh, there's something else. I mean, it was $1,000 here, $500, and like you're just overwhelmed. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't have this kind of money to put into a car. What the frig is going on? And then finally, I asked the mechanic. I switched mechanics because after a while, you're like, it has to be this one place. Let's go to another one. And I finally said to him, "This light am I gonna like explode on the highway?" Like, he's like, "Oh no, it's an emission thing." And I'm like, I bought one of those code things myself, and every time it comes on, I make sure it's that same dang code and I erase it. So every time it comes on now, I tell the Matrix, I understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to get me pissed off. And I'm actually just going to laugh about it, you at mother effers, because that's what's going on. I actually laugh about it to the point where my girls start laughing about it when it happens in the car. Like, whenever something happens, and again, I've been on this journey about 15 years, and it's so hard because the videos we could watch back then, half of those people aren't even allowed on YouTube anymore. But it just seems like everybody who's been waking up since, the whole debacle a few years ago, I don't want you guys to get a strike. So you guys caught on so much faster than we did all those years ago. So it's almost like sometimes, Angie, when you text me stuff, I'm like, gosh, I didn't find out about that until like, 6 years into the thing, like, but so I think there's this grace that's coming with people, but at the same time, everybody's waking up so fast, they're not sitting with it to handle those emotions, you know what I mean? And so everybody's angry all the time. And it's so hard because I went to counseling throughout this, like I've managed emotions, like, and to this point I'm like, cool, I have investigated everything, and I just don't care anymore. Like I am prepping myself for that moment I leave this place, and then joy moments with my kids. Those are the only two things I care about in this place. Otherwise I'm like, cool. Husband starts throwing a fit. I'm like, okay, whatever. Your emotions are not my emotions. You do you. Whatever you want to do is totally fine. Like, I don't know. I just have had a lot of time to process. It's been years. So it's like, oh gosh, when I first left Christianity, I was like depressed for 6 months because I was like,
Hmm.
what does Christmas mean? I don't even know where I am anymore. Like, it was like every time I found out something new, it was like, oh, okay, well, that's pretty horrible. I can't eat anymore without being poisoned. Okay, like, and now I'm like, all right, cool. It just comes with this place. So I think it's just time.
There we go.
I don't want anybody to spiritually bypass because that's not good either. Like Angie being angry is totally okay. And I would tell anybody, like, go to a rage room because, or do something productive with your anger. And I think that's it. Like, we're either told emotions are bad or we're taught to use emotion to manipulate people. We're never taught to how, again, to sit in the middle. Like, what is it to have anger, but how do I use it productively? Like, take that anger and create a podcast like we're here, inform people, because your channel is going to reach people that Tony's channel hasn't reached, or Howdy's channel is not going to reach. You know what I mean? Like, everybody has their own little sphere of people. And, I really hope this channel grows. I love seeing two women, like, and again, not a feminist, but it's nice to hear about the soul trap from other perspectives besides just the male perspective.
Yeah.
And nothing against men, I don't hate men, but you know what I mean. Like, women, we have our own perspective here. Like, we are stuck every month having a cycle that we cannot feel normal from every month for 30 to 40 years. Like, that is insane. That's punishment. And like, punishment that I cannot even explain to someone who's never had a period. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, that there's just something to the female voice. Like, it's so important because, when you mention that to other women, they're like, well, yeah, it's bad. But I'm like, no, no, that just shows how sick this place is. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, so
I think that misogyny, I'm even more that you brought that up. Even again, we touched on it a little bit last episode, but I think that is where misogyny comes from. I think that this being, whatever being, oh, I would love for that being to, I mean, I don't even care that I'm physically disabled, but let it take physical form and let's fight it out. Quit being a
for
coward.
real,
Quit
for
being a
real.
coward, hiding behind all of the stuff, stuffing souls in meat suits. Why don't you want to bring it? Quit sending little spidery parasites. You want to bring it, then bring it. Come on, let's go.
For
Yeah.
Quit
real.
hiding behind the shadows. But here's the thing: if it can't create, and we're the ones as women bringing the souls in, that makes sense to me. That you would be like it would be jealous of that. I mean, everything that proclaims the monotheistic God, that God's always jealous anyway, right?
Yeah, for
Always
real.
professing, I'm the only God, I'm the only God, and I'm a jealous God. All right, bitch, bring it. Bring
and
it.
you
Come
and you
on.
wonder and you wonder why some, narcissistic men act the way that they do. They're like, no, their code is from the original creator. Like, that's why they act the way that they do. Women are less than me. You have to put them underneath me. Like,
Yeah.
ugh. But
And
it's so strange, so funny. I just read this thing. I don't even know how I bumped onto his channel. It's called 404 or something something. But he wrote a book with his conversations with Chat GBT, and some of it I'm like, I don't care. But he had this section about, like, why, about this place, and he did talk about why women were in the place that they were. And he talked about how Yaldabaoth, or the it, whatever it is, hates women, not because we can create souls into this place, because the divine feminine principle is chaotic creation. It's everything. Like, if you've ever seen a woman clean a room, and I don't want to generalize women, but it's like, it looks like a tornado hit it. There's piles everywhere, but we know each pile, this one goes to Goodwill, this one goes to the garbage dump, this one I'm gonna, do something with it, or, give
organized
clothes away.
chaos. Yeah.
It's chaos, right? But then all of a sudden the order comes from the chaos because now everything's clean, nothing's hanging around. And he said, yelled about, or whatever, I'm just going to call it, created this wanted to create its own thing because he hated the chaos the divine feminine brought in. And I'm not saying just women, he just said the divine feminine particle or, principle, he hated it. And you're like, well, no, there's chaos here. No, it's chaos he designs in order to bring more control and order in this place. And
Mm,
I was like, I like that because I hate the whole story of Adam and Eve. It's always Eve's fault, whoever's talking about it. I hate the Gnostic story about Sophia. I'm really sorry if it is true or partially true. It's like, oh, well, Sophia, she didn't want to
yeah.
have a male counterpart to create. I'm like, why are we always blaming women?
Yeah.
It's it's always the woman's fault. And I'm not saying we're perfect. And I'm not saying to hate men or hate the divine masculine because in balance, I think it's beautiful, but I think it's out of balance on purpose here. And I really feel that women take the brunt of it in so many
I
ways.
well, I mean, I don't know, but I don't know if there is actual masculine and feminine, like outside of it. I don't know who's to
Yeah, I
say.
don't know.
But if it's just, I mean, is electricity, does that have a gender? If
No,
we're energy, right? If we're energy, so for me, it's just a pathetic, um, it's a pathetic energy source that's like I can't do anything, and it's envious of the fact that we can. It
yeah,
can't create life. If it can't create, it can't. It's everything that the, its existence is premised on, which is kind of the same thing in the movie. Everything
yes,
is premised on nothing gets done unless it's created. But the NPCs within the system, they're not even. Oh, look at it this way: Antoine's not creative. He didn't build the game. He had to
no,
steal it from somebody else. That's what we're dealing with here is a being that cannot do anything other than hide in shadow and pull all this stuff. Um, Thinking
agreed.
it's some great, and then tell itself it's great.
Yes.
Mm.
Even in the movie where he talked about, he's like, why would we create something new? He's like, we could just make Free City 2, Free City 3. And I
Mhm.
was like, that's how
Yeah.
our movies are now. Like, oh, hey, we have Moana 1, Moana 2. I don't even know why I just thought of Moana, but there it is. It's nothing is original in its thought.
Mm.
That's why I think that you guys think there's more NPCs here because I mean they made a second Beetlejuice 30 some odd years later.
Yeah, they're doing that with all those movies now.
And I'm like, what's going on? You guys we can't come up with anything new.
Yeah.
And Beetlejuice is this is what's so ridiculous. Beetlejuice is supposed to be an entity. If you're an entity, you don't age. I'm like,
Yeah.
and you've got Michael Keaton showing up all old and crispy as Beetlejuice. It's like, it doesn't work, you guys. Because again, I'm like, who's making this? Is it a bunch of NPCs who aren't capable of, I don't think I don't know. I don't think NPCs can create like we can create original content. I mean, maybe they can, but I don't know. It would make, I mean, if their being can't create, why would they be able to?
I don't know. I think they can just be so stuck in their programming, they don't have that desire to create. They're just going to stay stuck in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wanted to add, um, okay, that just talk a little bit more about living the program life until we kind of wake up more. Or like,
Mm,
not to say that to look at everyone as a whole and not categorize them all as NPCs. Um, but NPCs, if we were to kind of define them, they have this inability to change and they lack like
mm,
inner awareness, right? Like I wanted to talk more about um techniques and tips for anyone listening that might be like, okay, maybe I'm an NPC. Like what can we give them? What tools can we provide them advice to help them kind of take more advantage of their lives? And know that, if you've been living this program life, you can still change. Um,
mm, mm.
yeah.
I I think that's so huge. I cannot remember who said this, and it shocked my brain that I was like, I need to view NPCs a little different because you do get a little bitter sometimes being in this place sometimes. He said, "What if the NPCs we see are the soul vehicles of the soul or the spirit that actually got out on a previous reset?" And I was like,
Ooh,
"Oh,
whoa, that's
right?
mind blowing. Wow.
Isn't it?" And I really wish I could quote who said it. And there's a part of me in my mind that I'm saying it was Howdy Mikowski, but I don't know. So whoever did it, my credit goes to you. But you really shook me when you said that because I was like, there is so much like when you listen to NPC, and I think this is why I was so drawn to doing this episode because I think NPCs get so much hate. And because when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, I do think there is a set NPC group that are so, I don't think they can wake up at all. They are so programmed. I put them to the side. Okay, so I put them to the side. Maybe in another life they change. I don't know. But like, I would just tell the NPC, you can leave this set of matrices. I truly believe you could go back to the original. I do believe that original is so much better. However we got on there, and if you want to take Free Guy as encouragement, I really please watch the movie as many times as you need to say yes. He saw the original, and he's the one who jumped off the bridge to get there. I really think that, but I would tell the same advice to even divine souls: work your trauma, work those triggers that this place can be like bing bing bing, like the car light that just kept coming on. I'm telling you, it wrecked a whole day of mine. And the next day I was like, Jackie, what are you doing giving all this attention? Because is the car real? No, it's not. Am I real? No, I'm not. And sometimes those simple questions: I am not real, this place is not real, whatever happens is not real. It is not affecting who my divine spark truly is. Okay, cool. But working your trauma, don't spiritually bypass. Like, don't be like, I'm angry that I was sold a lie. Honestly, I don't want to say this. There were times I would pass by a church and be like, I understand why people set these on fire with with no people in it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, and I would never do it, but I understood the sentiment because I was lied to, controlled, manipulated, and gaslit, and then silenced my whole life until I was like 40, when I was like, oh, I don't think this is true anymore. It's so aggravating, and like it causes a lot of anger. And so process through. I had every right to feel that way. Like, I was angry for several years actually, but I don't take it out on my kids. I didn't take it out on my husband. I still don't. Like, but work your stuff. Don't spiritually bypass. Don't say, oh, these are ascension symptoms. No, they're just the symptoms of you saying, hey, this place isn't right. What I've been coded with isn't right. I don't know. Somebody else jump in there.
Yeah.
What do you think about breaking out of norms? Like,
Oh, yeah.
as far as question everything,
Yes.
everything, not only from the perspective of what you just said, Jackie, like breaking off, like dealing with your own traumas and dealing with yourself and questioning those why those traumas were even necessary to begin with. Was it relevant
Right.
to go through? And then don't follow into the trend of the cult of personality. And what do I mean by that? I mean,
Mm,
don't become a thing, an ism. Don't become a Catholic. Like, don't define yourself in terms of I am this, I'm that. In terms of your religion, your politics, because you know what? None of the I'm what I'm coming to realize is even who I think I am, this persona isn't even real either.
no.
It's not real either.
Yeah.
All of it, like when I go, I don't want to have an attitude of rebellion, or it shouldn't be necessary because there shouldn't be anything to fight.
Yes.
I mean, there might be, and I need to be prepared for that, but also to just, I mean, I thought it was interesting when I had I think I had it in the comments, but about letting go
Mm.
of the like the devastation that guy felt when he finds out he's not real.
Yeah,
And
that is a
letting, he had to let go of everything. And if you remember in the Matrix, before Neo jumps, what does Morpheus tell him? You got to let it all go.
Hmm.
yes.
And so I think for all of us, whether you're an NPC or not, that's the key in many respects is just, let let everything because even in this movie, you find the NPCs believing in they couldn't let go, right? The cappuccino thing. Everybody's shocked about that.
Yeah.
And that's hanging on to things or not being willing to step out of. And if we can't step out of our lives here, and like if you're, let's say you're a Republican and you can't even remotely hear what a Democrat has to say, I'm just using this as an example. How
No,
the hell, when you get out, are you going to be able to get out if you can't even let go of whatever you're attached to?
that's so true.
I think we tell ourselves lies. And
Yeah.
so, NPC or not, break, question yourself, question everything, and I think you'll be able to keep ascend. I don't like the word ascending because that sounds new agey, but
Growing, healing.
grow. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's better. That's way better.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'd like to add to that, and from speaking from personal experience, I know before I really started having a bunch of inner awareness, I had a lot of like prior programming, right? And I don't know about
Mm.
y'all, but I was stuck in a box about who I was. And a lot of those thoughts formed from my childhood, or, we're taught that we that we
Mm.
have to know ourselves and know what we want to be when we grow up when we're so young.
Yes. Yes.
Like all that. My favorite color,
Yeah.
it was blue, and I hated pink. That was a thought pattern that I formed when I was a kid, and I held it until I was like 25, and then I was like, why do I hate pink? But
Mm.
really just digging deep into the programming of who you think you are and breaking free from all of that conditioning, all of that societal crap, and really,
Yes.
yeah, I subconsciously in my head, I told myself I was stupid so many times that I couldn't do things, that I would never do this. I'm too anxious to do that. And when I started really paying attention to my mind and my inner thoughts and stopping those thoughts, I really freed myself from a lot of like the negative programming that was placed on me, that I took and carried on for so long. So I think like having that inner
Mm.
awareness too, and really bringing it to the mind and the body, along with everything y'all said, can really like break us free from a lot of this stuff.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Angie, you reminded me of that other part in the movie. Remember when Guy gets the sunglasses and he's so excited to share it with his best friend, the security guy? And
Mm,
he gets the sunglasses and he hands it to him, and the guy's like, "No, I can't
yeah.
take the sunglasses." That was like such a whoa moment. Like seeing it again, I was like, "Whoa, how many times are we telling friends and family, like, hey, this is just look at it," and they refuse to look at it?
Yeah.
Like, if you are listening to this, look at everything. Like Angie said, question everything. Don't put anybody on a pedestal, but trust yourself. What Devin just said, to get yourself out of the box, you are not who you think you are. But also going to Tony or going to Devin and looking through your past lives, doing some, therapy in that regard, removing your chakras. Like there's so many things that you can do that will help your day to day. I'll tell you, when I removed my chakras, I felt so much calmer. And they can still trigger me, but I know that they're triggering me. Like it did take me a day to figure out that stupid check engine light thing, but it took me a day. I wasn't out for the count for 6 months, like you have to give yourself a lot of grace too, because we weren't in charge of those boxes that were placed on us. Like, I think so much they try to trap us in this guilt and shame loop, and it's so hard to get out. But all you have to do is say, you know what, cool, that was done. Okay, but I know better now. I'm going to take the sunglasses. I'm going to choose different.
Yeah. When he's handing those sunglasses to his friend Buddy, uh he says to him, life doesn't have to be something that just happens to us. That's what he says
Yes.
to him. And then, out of fear, his friend is like, no, I can't do it. Um, yeah, but later Buddy does take the sunglasses
Yeah.
and he's like, this is one of the best days of my life. I feel so free and I'm not scared anymore. And yeah.
Well, with you talking about boxing yourself in, or how we all do that. The
Yeah.
interesting thing is, when we put out our first episode, um, I thought I was out of my nervousness within the first 7 minutes, but we both talked about doing this for like going all the way back to June, and yet we didn't come out with our first episode until like almost, what was that, the middle of July, I think it
Yeah.
was, or for the end. Um, and I think we were still hesitant even before we even put out the first few days before the video. There was this, because neither one of us felt like we wanted to be out there
Hmm.
doing this. And we were boxing ourselves in. She was very, very informative. I hadn't studied necessarily prison planet theory, but I had done so much soul searching,
Mhm.
even other religions throughout my lifetime, that I thought, um, just in our discussion, it was apparent that there was a lot of information between the two of us going back and forth. And I was like, we should do a podcast. And then it just grew from there. But then we kind of backtracked a little bit. And I think anytime that you can step outside of yourself and push beyond what seems to be limitations, because a lot of times they might be imposed limitations, but that doesn't mean you can't transcend them. And
That's right.
sometimes they're self-imposed. And so I
Yes.
think doing that too, where you constantly see for yourself, no, I can do this thing.
That's
And,
right.
regardless of, I mean, maybe people watch this, they might have comments to say about my appearance or whatever else, but here's in reality, um, I mean, I'm no, I think Tony had mentioned to me that he might want me on his podcast to talk about my mushroom experience. And at first, I hesitated to answer him when
Hmm.
we had talked about that, because I thought, oh, see, right now it's a small group of people watching these videos, but he's got 24,000 subscribers. And
Yeah.
so once again, it popped up for me like, ooh, whoa, that. And then if they find out about, or those people find out about this channel, how many more of those would watch? And then that's me and Devin both out there more. And then,
Hmm.
but I told him I would do it, because again, it's that whole thing of, you know what, I'm not going to follow I'm not going to let the system dictate fear, and me make decisions out of fear. And I think as individuals, we constantly have to keep pushing those thresholds, so that, again, because we're going to be facing the biggest at our point of death, right? On the other side, you're going to be facing that. So if you're afraid of the unknown, and you lived your whole life running away from that, you're probably going to do it in death too, right?
Yeah.
More than likely.
I agree. It's so funny you say that, because when you were like, "Hey, email us," I was like, "Oh no, like no, why would they want me on their show? Like, I haven't written a book. I'm just a stay-at-home mom who has her own side business. Like, I've just researched to death a lot of things." And I was like, "You know what, Jackie? Just do it. Just email her." And I was like, "Cool. I will email 2 sentences." I was like, "Cool. See you later." Like, blah blah blah. And then you're like, "Text me." I'm like, "Damn it, Angie, you're trying, like, you're really pushing on my, like," and I was like, "Cool, Jackie, just text her." And I'm like, "Do do do." And then Devin's like, "Hey, like, call me, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Great." I'm like, "Yeah, he went to voicemail, thank God." Then she calls me back 2 minutes later. But
Yeah.
I'm so glad. Like, I was so nervous, but it's just, it's putting yourself out there. It's hard.
Yeah.
And stepping outside of what the whole, um, I think, I think for me, I can't speak for y'all, but for me, it's stepping outside of my own prison. I
Yeah.
feel bad enough that yes, I'm here, whether I was tricked or whatever, but I'm in this body, which I think the body is in and of itself another prison.
Yep.
Um, and so having limited mobility, again, you don't realize that you guys have mobility. And when I did too, I never ever questioned that. Hey, I'm just in a body. It's a prison. Wait till it shuts down on you,
Yeah.
and then you're really going to find how constrictive it is. Because the only reason nobody really that comes to that realization is because you're moving. But I think for me, it was that whole thing of
Mm.
you can. I understand more now when people say that you can be free while you're in prison, and these experiences like this, stepping outside of yourself, having a broadside view, a bigger view of what's really going on here. That's how you consistently keep yourself in that state of mind of I'm always pushing for my agency and my freedom and stepping
Mm.
beyond and not imprisoning myself any further than I'm already constricted.
That was beautifully said, Angie.
Mm-hmm. And you guys both did it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Devin's not, Devin said she's really more introverted. And so this is a big deal for you, right, Devin?
Yes, a very big deal. I
And we're four
thought you were,
episodes in. We've
huh?
done 4 videos now, man.
Yeah, now I feel very not as afraid. Not as afraid. But yeah, when you brought it up to do a podcast, I was like, okay, whatever. Sure, it's just an idea. We aren't really gonna follow through with it. Yeah. So I'm glad though. I'm very glad.
I am
You know,
too.
It's nice. I'm grateful to have been pushed out of my box and my comfort zone. Yeah.
it's really funny. I never usually comment on people's YouTube videos,
Mhm.
but for some reason I was like, no, I'm gonna be out there more because sometimes you get these people commenting on videos like stop asking stupid questions and you just kind of get shamed into being quiet a little bit. You're like, I'll just watch the video, I won't comment, but I was like, no, these two need to know that they're doing a great job. And I was like, da 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 da. And I was like, I don't know what was possessing me that day, but I was like so excited for you guys. And so I couldn't believe I wrote a whole paragraph. It was crazy.
I
But
was really impressed with like everybody's comments. I thought we got some really. I'm really grateful for all of them. Some were just people saying, "Hey, keep up the good work," or Tony, referenced the channel.
mm,
And then the people who wrote more than that, really profound things that people are saying. And yours, I found, um, we have a question right now and I don't know how to answer it. But you know, I think it was a David Bowie video. We had a woman write in and she was asking, she's like, and what are dreams? Like it was two questions, but the last one was, and what are dreams for?
mm,
And that's not a subject that I've delved into too much because I've never paid much attention to them until recently. Now I'm doing more lucid dreaming, so I probably should be more up on that. But I really thought the amount that you wrote and the things that you were saying were very, that's why we answered it. I was like, we could write you back, but that's going to require more of a lengthy. And I was like, and we hadn't, Devin had family in town. So we had all of this kind of stuff going on. I thought, I told Devin, I go, why don't we just address the comments, especially Jackie's on the episode.
mm.
So, and I was going to ask you, you saw the very first one, right? That was the one
I
that you
did.
commented.
That's the
What
one I
was it
commented
about
the
it
most.
that appealed to you?
I did tell you two females. I was super excited to hear your perspective. And honestly, being awake for so long, you kind of get the same groups of people. And it's almost like when you join a new community, you have these people who are like, and then you have these people over here. And I was like, your thoughts and your ideas were just fresh. You were honestly asking questions. and I loved it. So many people, there's so many people with YouTube channels that are like, let me tell you. And I was like, no,
Oh
no, no, no,
yeah.
no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I've seen a lot. And sometimes it's always good information, but I loved, hey, we're just going to talk about this. We didn't write a book about it. We're just two people asking honest questions. And I was like, this is something I can get behind, because how many years like have I been awake where I've been asking questions and where people are like, oh, you don't know anything about narcissism? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm new here. Like,
Mm.
I haven't even heard about Soul Trap. Like, or even in the New Age, you go into the New Age because you leave Christianity and you're researching all these other religions, and you're like, and they're like, oh, well, you don't know about your chakras? And I'm like, I'm new here. Like, could you just explain it to me? Like, it's like, chakras for dummies, like, and so I found your conversation um, so refreshing, where you're like, ask a stupid question, ask a question. Like, this is what I think, but I'm willing for people to give their input. And I was like, this is very rare in even just the truther community. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories and stuff out there. So that's honestly, that's why I was like, cool, I'm gonna comment. Again, I don't know why I felt so inspired, but I did. And I was super excited to see you guys just being honest. Like, we don't know everything, but we're willing to have the conversation. And that is so beautiful that you don't see anymore.
Oh, I think that's what when we started it, that's why we don't want to run ads or promote product. And when I watch people's video and they're sitting, I'm like, you just turned into really, like,
Yeah.
you're talking about, for example, you're going to talk about how I watch Jimmy Dore a lot, here and there to kind of pick up on, because I don't watch mainstream news, and
Yeah.
he's one of few people I can tolerate. But I'm like, you just sat here and talked about how bad the economy is and how people can't make ends meet, but you're trying to sell me a $600 air purifier. Fuck you, buddy.
Yeah.
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 That, how does that even make sense? And so, like, what I hoped, and I think Devin would agree with me, is that we don't have all the answers. I mean, Michelle has told me, she was like, I hope you don't take, like, because when I was buying RJ Spina books and Joe Dispenza's
Mm.
books, and I was getting real deep into them, she's like, well, I hope with Tony or these other people, you don't start seeing them as like a, kind of like a guru. And I go, no, hell no. I was like, everybody advocates
Yeah.
for agency, and that's what we want for people. We want to hear your comments. We want to know what you think. We want to
Yeah.
know, like, we're very interested in it being a collaborative thing, because I think we're all trying to help each other get the hell out of here.
That's right.
It's not about power. It's not about, uh, or attaining anything. It's more of the whole, what do other people think,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to get those perspectives. So, and that's why I wanted to ask you that question, because I wanted to see if that's what we're putting out there. And so if that kind of
You
reaffirms
are.
for me we're on the right track. So,
Cool.
So, why don't we go ahead and wrap up with talking about ways to leave and exit? Jackie, do you want to start us off with those, what you have written?
You know, we talked about who we are, we talked about where we are, and I think Free Guy really kind of tells us to kind of look into those things. But one of the things, and it's a theory I came up against just a couple weeks ago. This year, I've told myself in January, we are focusing on getting out of here. My primary focus in life, this is what it's going to be. And so I've been really true to those words, picking up habits, like, or just things that I do every day to keep my focus. And this one theory came up, and I was like, okay, it's a theory. Please, nobody shoot me. Because there are so many people that are telling, this is how you get out, this is how you get out, this is how you get out. And I really truly think it's so simple. If that's what you hold inside of you, like, I am leaving, and it's not out of anger, it's a knowing that I don't belong here. it's this confidence that like, this is not where I should originate. Like, I don't agree with anything that goes on here. I really truly feel we are coming up to a time where they are resetting this matrix, and that is a whole nother subject that we could get on, or you can research on your own. But whatever that means, they are moving us into a matrix of transhuman people. But I do feel that there's a good enough population that are going to say, I don't want that. But I also think it comes with a whole bunch of other things like weather phenomena and blah, 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 blah. But this theory says that when we exit this place, we go back to the original matrix that we already talked about at the beginning, or, maybe halfway through this chat of ours. And that's why I wanted to end with it, because some people get overwhelmed thinking about the real. Because in our broken minds, I don't think we're allowed to have that capacity to see that place for it what it is. Everyone's like, "Oh, and visualize, get your intention, go there." But where is there? A lot, and I felt always so nervous about where that was. I was like, I can't picture that place. What does that look like? Are we even people? Are we like purple octopi? Like, what does that place really look like? And I know it sounds stupid. You're like, oh, well, just trust. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. My trust is kind of broken in some ways, right? Like, what does that mean going to the real? And again, I heard it and I don't remember where I heard it. She talked about going back to the original Matrix, where whatever that looks like, but I think that's where we have the tall trees. Like, I really think it's as close to nature as we can get, like they said in Free Guy. Like, all of them went back to a place that you're like, oh, yeah, I could live there. There's so many trees. It's beautiful. They didn't have to work. Like, I really think everything I said, an hour ago is right on. And are we there for a long time? No, but we heal anything that needs to be healed. But I think most of all, we remember. We remember how we got there, and we remember what we actually are. Because if you think, oh, I'm just energy in this place, yeah, but you're not energy the moment you leave this place. And it brought a lot of peace. Like, I can picture what this earth could look like, million millennia ago, with tall trees. And I can picture that. Like, even if I could just picture a willow tree that I can sit underneath and that makes me happy, I can do that. And it just brought a lot of peace and comfort. So i I already said I think NPCs can go back there, but I also think when we're released from this matrix, whether through death or whether through this matrix resetting and some blip happens, I think it's possible. I leave everything open and we go back to the original, so we remember to go back to the real. We could just go back to the real. I have no qualms about that, but it made my little human mind calmer, thinking there was something I could actually visualize and go from there and remember and be connected to my divine spark again, because we're so far removed from it right now, where if it does talk to us, it's in like little tiny thoughts or little tiny things. Oh, did you catch that thing in Free Guy? Like, oh my gosh, I do think our divine spark speaks to us like that. But imagine being so close they could tell you the real story before you left. I don't know, I think there's just something so beautiful about that. It could be wrong. We could go right back to the real, and I leave space for that too. But there was just that part in this movie that I was like, I kind of like that, because Millie does come to that place to see Guy, and he's like, hey, I don't need you anymore. And I really think, like, to me, it just spoke of this. The divine sparks were leaving, but they were leaving the NPCs there in good hands so they could just be free and happy themselves. So I don't know. That's how the end of the movie seemed to me. And so I really like that. So,
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
right. Like, I hate all this. Oh, gotta find the net, gotta find the holes. Like, no, 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 no. I think if your intention is there and you really have put it as a focus, it doesn't have to be your number one focus, but is it in your top five? Like, are you doing the things every day to help you say, hey, even at the end of the day, like, I'm this is not me. I am a divine spark. I'm not from here. Even just reminding yourself every day helps. Like, whatever you need to do to get through the day, I am you do you. Like, as long as you're not, like, beating up on somebody, but don't be loosh peddlers, as Angie said. Like,
Right?
but I think don't make things too complicated either. Because I think if we try to make it more complicated, we're going to get stuck in that astral, and then we're going to play out all those stupid NDE scenarios we've all researched to death. Although I will say Tony Sayers' last NDE video was phenomenal, and I really encourage people to watch that one.
I'll
Do
have to
you
check that
remember the
out.
title of it?
She got struck by lightning and, like, met with God or something. He just posted it, I
Okay.
think,
Oh,
yesterday.
okay. So it's a recent one.
Yeah, it just recent, because her whole thing is, at least I was in a body. At least I was in a body, and I'm like, this woman is so attached to her body in the astral place. And I think that's huge. Like, knowing who you are not this body.
And yeah,
Knowing
that's
where
going to be big.
It's huge. Knowing where we are. This is not the real. This is a simulation. This is a consuming zone. There's there's no life here if you're not consuming something.
Yeah.
And then keep it simple. Where do I want to go? I want to go back. I want to go back to the real me. That little tiny spark that guy saw come out of his little,
This Bella
belly
Benton.
button.
Yeah.
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 Don't
Not
No,
make it
I,
any more
procrastination, but
complicated.
yeah. No, I think I've kept it simple. Like my intent is to zoom out of here. And then if I find myself again, because we don't know if
Yeah, we don't.
that's going to be good enough. So if that's not enough, then I'm kind of right now, my second option is I'm going to descend. And that's
Mm,
due to the astrologer Ola Volney has
yeah,
talked about like,
she's
so
phenomenal.
we're always talking about ascending. Nobody talks about descending.
No.
So then I'll try that. And then if that doesn't work and I get approached by things and I have to find a hole in the, then in other words, like I've got backups, but my initial thing is kind of what you said, just set the intention and I keep it simple.
My
yeah.
dad used to say, like, always prepare for the worst, but expect the best, like,
Oh, yeah.
or hope for the best. I forget what
Mm.
that quote means. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe I'm butchering that too much. We're going to shut up
What do you say,
Yeah.
Devin?
I definitely agree with Jackie with not placing it on a external location like, oh, I want to go to my original home or I want to create this. I don't think that that's the right way. I think it's returning to my, you know, I don't know, just going even deeper within, returning to that
Yes.
beginning. And that way less chance of being tricked or any of that. I think that's just a lot more of a like a gnosis kind of, I don't know, just more.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm moving my computer. Sorry.
Okay. Um, yeah. All right. So do y'all have any other last notes or comments on this episode on Free Guys and NPCs?
No, I think we covered all
No.
of it, or
Okay.
Yeah.
what we wanted to cover.
Jackie.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so blessed and honored. And honestly, my intention here was to hopefully lift people up, especially you two. Like, I love what you're doing with this channel. Thank you for having me on, and really encourage people to add comments to the bottom of any video of theirs. Like, they're so fun to talk to, and it's so nice to talk to people that feel the same. Even if we disagree on, like, little tiny things, I love hearing different thoughts and different. So this has been so fun, and I really hope people feel encouraged and feel like, hey, you know what? Even though this place we are in, our little hellscape here, um, we have each other, and it's really
Well,
cool to have more
thank,
perspectives.
for sure. Thank you for coming on and spending your time with us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much, Jackie, and sharing all of your insight and wisdom and research and bringing the topic as well. It's been
I'll
really
keep you guys posted on our monthly rich mantra or whatever we're
okay.
doing
Yeah,
here.
and for
Oh
anyone
yeah, that's
listening,
right.
you
Let's
can
not forget that. So
y'all can try it out as well and let us know how it went for you, if
Right?
anything. Yeah,
That'd be
yeah,
so
it'll be
cool.
interesting. Okay. All right. All right. So that is it for today's episode, and thank y'all so much.
don't be loosh peddlers.
No loose petals. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.